This place kills women like me. That's why I have to go in. Maya Williams zipped up the bag of borrowed clothes, her hands steady despite the storm inside her. Her brown eyes, deep and sharp, caught their reflection in the mirror across the room. The woman staring back at her wore no badge, no rank, just conviction. Behind her, a voice crackled through the phone speaker. Maya, don't do this. Go through the channels. If you go in pretending to be one of them, no one's pulling you out. Saf. It was Captain Elena Ross. Friend, mentor, and the only person left in the department she still trusted. But Maya didn't flinch. I'm done with channels, Mia said, flat and low. The system eats its own. I'm not next on the menu. Elena tried again, quieter this time. You're not invincible. You walk in there and disappear, that's it. No funeral, just silence. And Walter Hargrove is the devil in a tatered suit, Maya cut in. And I sent him the truth. That memory was fresh. Too fresh. 3 days ago, Maya had received an anonymous tip. Reports of missing inmates. Midnight transfers with no documentation. And worst of all, women showing signs of sexual and physical abuse, then disappearing from Green Lake Women's Correctional in Wilkes County, Alabama. As a state-appointed internal affairs investigator, Maya had compiled a full report with timestamps, personnel names, even a partial witness statement. She sent it directly to her superior officer, Sheriff Walter Hargrove, the man who also happened to be the wealthiest lawman in the South with more power than any elected official in 3 counties. She had believed for one foolish moment that protocol would protect her. Instead, she was summoned to his office like a schoolgirl, the door shut behind her, heavy and slow. He didn't even look up from his leather chair when he said, "You come into my house waving paperwork like it means something?" Maya stood tall, fingers wrapped tight around her folder. "Sir, these were serious allegations." He stood so fast the room trembled. In one stride, he was in front of her, the edge of his belt glinting in the low light. He slapped the folder from her hand, papers scattering like broken glass. "You think I don't know how this works?" He hissed. "You're just a diversity project with a chip on her shoulder. A black girl from Atlanta pretending she's more than a badge. You want to lecture me?" Maya's voice was fire. "I don't want to lecture you. I want you to answer for what's happening at Green Lake." That was when it came. A backhand across her face so hard it split her lip. Her head snapped sideways. Blood filled her mouth. Her knees buckled, but she didn't fall. He leaned in, voice venomous. "Next time, you'll know when to shut your damn mouth." But Maya had already made her choice. And tonight, she was walking into hell. Her badge now sat quietly on the kitchen table, a faint smear of blood still on its back. She'd wiped it, but hadn't scrubbed. Some things needed to stay. The room around her was still. In the corner, the soft hum of an old fan stirred the silence. On the wall, a photograph of her mother in 1984, smiling in a nurse's uniform before the world crushed her. Beneath it, an old clipping. Black woman wrongfully detained in traffic stop. That wasn't just history. That was fuel. Her burner phone lit up. Chet Green Lake's clinic freezer. They're not patients. They're trophies. She didn't blink. Just read it twice. Pocketed the phone and pulled open the drawer beneath her sink. From inside, she took out a forged state ID. Keisha Monroe, 31, public disorder, no next of kin. Also inside are micro cameras sewn into a shirt button and a recording device small enough to swallow if it came to that. At 11:15 p.m., Maya drove south in a rented truck with Alabama plates and a cracked taillight. She passed old diners, empty gas stations, and churches with broken neon crosses. Somewhere along the way, the air turned thick and unforgiving, southern heat that clung like accusation. In the rearview mirror, she whispered, "Keisha Monroe, no prior, no hope." By 2 a.m., Maya reached Green Lake Women's Correctional. The facility looked like a county fairground stripped of joy. barbed wire fences, steel towers, and cold orange lighting. Inside, she was processed without ceremony. Fingerprints taken, shoes removed, scrubs tossed into her arms. The guard didn't meet her eyes. "You'll be in Block D." She didn't ask questions. Inside Block D, the air was sour, disinfectant, and despair. Her cellmate, an older black woman named Tracy, sat silently on the bunk, carving something into a soap bar. Maya lay down, the mattress a slab of foam wrapped in plastic. She closed her eyes but didn't sleep. At 4:17 a.m., she heard the sound. Wheels. A metal cart. A voice soft, tired, then silence. No one screamed, no one moved. This wasn't punishment, it was extraction. Maya stared at the ceiling. Her split lip ached. The taste of blood was still with her. She had no backup, no warrant, no protection. Only the truth and a recording button beneath her collar. Because this place kills women like her. And she was the only one walking in to make it stop. If this moved you, hit like and drop a comment with where you're watching from. You might be closer to someone who feels the same. The morning came without sunlight. Block D had no windows, no real sense of time, only flickering overhead lights and a buzzing vent that hummed like a mosquito in your ear. Maya had drifted in and out of shallow sleep, not because she was tired, but because the body has limits, even when the mind doesn't. She opened her eyes to the sight of Tracy sitting on the edge of the bunk, hands folded in her lap, staring at the concrete wall across from them like it held secrets only she could read. "You're up," Tracy said, voice raspy but gentle. She didn't turn her head. Most folks in this place learn not to be, nah. Maya sat up slowly, feeling the stiffness in her lower back. "You don't sleep." "Not when the cart rolls by." Maya looked toward the cell bars. "What is that cart?" Tracy finally turned her gaze. Her eyes were tired, not just from lack of sleep, but from years, maybe decades of seeing too much and saying too little. "No one knows for sure," she said, "but if they knock on your bars at midnight, you don't knock back. That's the rule." Maya nodded slowly. She wanted to ask more, but she couldn't. Not yet. She was still Keisha Monroe, and Keisha wasn't supposed to be curious. Keisha was supposed to be scared, angry, broken. She stood up and followed the morning routine like everyone else. Cold water splashed to the face, bland oatmeal in a plastic bowl. The cafeteria smelt like bleach and wet bread. Dozens of women moved in tight lines, heads low, shoulders hunched. A woman in the food line glanced at Maya, then looked away fast. Maya caught the reflected fear, not the kind born from a fight, but the kind born from memory. "You're new?" a voice beside her said. Maya turned. A young Latina inmate no older than 22, big brown eyes, hair tied back in a ragged bun. The name tag on her shirt read, Santos. "Yeah," Maya said, keeping her tone cautious. "You ain't gonna last here." Maya didn't answer. She didn't need to. Santos leaned closer. "Don't talk too loud. Don't eat too slow. And whatever you do, don't look at the guards like you got questions." "You're real helpful." Santos smirked. "No, I'm real tired of funerals." That sentence stuck. Later that day, Maya was taken to the infirmary for a checkup. Routine, they said. Everyone gets one within 48 hours. She followed the female guard through a long hallway, cleaner than the rest of the prison, and stepped into a room that smelled like alcohol swabs and metal. The nurse on duty looked up. She was white, middle-aged, with perfect hair and a cold smile. "Sit," the nurse said. Maya obeyed. The nurse took her blood pressure, then drew 2 vials of blood. "You always run these tests?" Maya asked, letting her voice tremble just slightly. The nurse didn't look up. "We take blood from everyone." "Mi siante,"